My parents sold my fiancé and me their house. Turns out my mom used me in a plot to leave my father. Title sums it up. My fiancé and I have been looking for a home the last couple years. We both make good money and had almost $85,000 in savings, but were unable to find a home near us that didn't require $150,000 plus in renovations or in a horrible town. My mom approached me with the idea of selling their home to us. I already lived with them, so it was as easy as taking over the mortgage. We paid off their second mortgage as a down payment. The agreement was that we could take over their mortgage, around $500,000 left at 2.5% interest. 4-bed 3-bath home. As long as we agreed to house them. We always planned on having a space for my parents, so we were incredibly ecstatic and felt so grateful for my parents' generosity. Fast forward a few months later and my mom makes some comments about no longer needing my dad, and at one point flat out says, "Haven't you noticed? I'm slowly separating my assets from him. He won't have anything to hold over me." My parents have been together since they were 17. They have a love-hate relationship, and my father was physically abusive growing up. My mother was as well, but primarily emotionally abusive. But that all has subsided and they seem to have matured, grown, and reconciled the last 10 years. When my mom made that comment to me, I felt a huge pit in my stomach and it instantly showed on my face. I told her that I did not feel comfortable being put in the middle of their issues and that I felt taken advantage of, that she tricked my dad into giving us the house so she could get rid of him. It's been a few months since then. Today my mom kicked my dad out of the house. It happened about half an hour ago after an argument that yes, he started, but spiraled because I felt my mom saw her chance and pounced. As he packed his bags, I told him that she could not ban him from the house, despite what she says. He is my father and I will not choose between either of them. I feel very confused, manipulated, and hurt. Are my parents in a happy or healthy relationship? No. Should they have divorced a long time ago? Yes. But I feel as though my mom used me as her escape plan without taking into account how I could feel pinned in the middle. I promised my parents both a home. They sacrificed everything for me and my education so that I could be successful. I know my dad has nothing. When I said I would have them with me, I meant both. It feels wrong to have my mom here without my dad, as she insists he does not come back. This is his home too. He is more than her husband, he is my dad, and I'd never close the door on him. I told him and he knows. I feel horrible to know that he must feel as if the rug was pulled under him too. In the last few months my fiancé and I have done a bunch of renovations to the home. It looks brand new, but I feel wrong being here now. Part of me wants to just give it back to her and go, but we have nowhere else to go. Our savings went almost completely into the house. I guess I'm not really looking for advice, just to be heard. I'm really confused in how I feel and just incredibly hurt. I feel almost numb. I don't have children yet, but I can't imagine doing to them what my mom has done to me. Possibly I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just processing. Could be the alcohol I instantly grabbed the moment he closed the door. I don't know. I'm just hurt. Edit. Adding context, since some of you don't seem to understand that I am not choosing sides or supporting my dad's behavior. Both of my parents were abusive. My dad was never abusive toward my mom. He was physically toward my siblings, and I, growing up, due to his upbringing, he was severely abused and thought it was discipline, but has since apologized, gone to therapy, and has made a huge effort to mend our relationship the last 10 years. My mom has always been emotionally abusive. My youngest memory of her is her grabbing me by my hair and threatening to throw me downstairs for being an ungrateful bitch, after I told her I was having intrusive thoughts at 6 yo. She loves to start arguments and turn casual conversations into fights, then making it about her. She has tried to improve the last few years, but it's usually just an apology and back to the same behavior. My dad has been working for months building her a living office space of her own in our garage for her to finally have her own space. She was ecstatic. He works in there for hours every day after working around the clock as an electrician. I should have added more context. The argument yesterday was between my dad and sister after she gave him a bit of an attitude. It was nowhere near a real argument until my mom stormed upstairs and blew it up into one. My dad can be an ass, my mom can be too. If they want to divorce, I have no issue with that. I want them both to be happy. But it is beyond wrong to use me as a pawn in her plan by essentially stealing the home my dad built from under his nose without letting me know. It makes me feel icky and wrong being here. I don't want to choose sides. At this moment I don't want either of them near me. It's not about me choosing or wanting my dad more. I do not want to be in the middle of this period. Double edit. My dad was never abusive toward my mom. My mom is not financially dependent on my dad in the slightest. She has a well-paying finance job and has been making great money for almost 15 years now. My dad is a tradesman who works around the clock. She makes probably 3x his salary. I feel as though she moved the house to me to avoid having to pay him his share of equity so that he would have nothing. Again, I am not siding with my dad or saying my mom was wrong in whatever she was intending. I just don't feel right feeling like I got a great house but at the cost of my dad having nothing. That was why he was supposed to be able to stay here. Like many of you said, yes, another person would have bought the home but it would have sold for almost double what we bought it for and my parents would have both been able to split the profit. I have come to the realization that my mom may have made this deal with the guise of helping us when in reality it may have been to take whatever was left that would have went to my dad to be able to start a new life.